Beneath the fierce reign of Genghis Khan, life in the Mongol Empire was harsh and unforgiving. Picture a land ruled by strict laws, where even small mistakes could lead to severe punishment. War was constant, making peace a rare and fragile state. Genghis Khan's empire operated under a strict legal code called the Yasa. This set of rules unified a vast and diverse population, but demanded total obedience, sacrificing personal freedom. The Yasa controlled all aspects of life, from theft to personal conduct, and its punishments were brutal. Stealing, even something minor like a neighbor's animal, was punishable by death. Adultery was met with harsh penalties, often execution or banishment, with no chance for mercy or appeal. Persian historian Javani, who wrote about the Mongols and the history of the world conqueror, explained that Genghis Khan believed only complete obedience could hold the empire together. The Yasa aimed to inspire fear and respect equally, ensuring that no one, not even those close to Khan, could break the law without consequence. Loyalty to Genghis Khan was absolute, and even small offenses faced harsh punishments. For ordinary people, this code was an ever-present threat shaping daily life. It worked as both protection for the empire and a weapon to crush rebellion. Freedom was limited, and any mistake could be deadly. To survive, one had to submit fully to the Khan's will. Living in the Mongol Empire was not easy. The vast plains of Central Asia presented a tough environment with hot summers, freezing winters, and constant movement in search of food, water, and grazing land. The Mongols, often called people of the felt tents, lived in portable girt tents made from felt and wood. They depended mostly on their animals for food and materials, with water being a precious commodity. Life was spent mostly on horseback, demanding great physical strength and stamina. Women and children shared the hard work of managing livestock, gathering food, and packing up homes to move to new locations. Although some Mongol groups gained wealth through conquest, most struggled daily just to survive. Their diet mainly consisted of dried or fermented foods, since fresh produce was scarce. This lifestyle wasn't a choice but a necessity, built on resilience and adaptability. Punishments in the Mongol Empire were famously harsh and often public, meant to scare people into obedience. Beheading was a usual punishment, but worse fates awaited those guilty of serious crimes like betrayal or stealing from the Khan. Some were reportedly torn apart by wild horses or dismembered slowly. Friar John of Plano Carpini, a medieval traveler, described brutal executions like boiling alive or impalement, though some of these stories may be exaggerated. The fear of Mongol punishment was so strong that it kept most people in line. Soldiers who fled their posts could be executed, along with their families, because loyalty was sacred. When a group failed or disobeyed, leaders were killed or entire villages destroyed for sheltering criminals. The empire's justice was unforgiving, leaving no room for weakness or rebellion. Another terrifying punishment used by the Mongols involved placing condemned beneath a wooden plank and pressing heavy stones onto them, causing a slow and painful death. The empire also employed psychological tactics. Instead of always killing offenders, they sometimes destroyed their social standing or took away their belongings. Exile was a common fate, banishing people to the most unforgiving areas of the steppe, where survival was nearly impossible. This harsh justice system, though cruel, was essential in keeping the empire stable and enforcing Genghis Khan's strict laws. Life under these conditions demanded constant alertness. One mistake could bring ruin. In Mongol society, women faced severe restrictions. Polygamy was widespread, especially among the ruling class. Powerful men often had several wives. The main wives were usually chosen for political or economic gain, while secondary wives or concubines held lower status. Even women at the top of the household hierarchy were treated more like possessions than equals. The Yasa reinforced these roles, requiring women to show complete loyalty to their husbands and families. Marriages were arranged to strengthen alliances or improve status, leaving little room for a woman's own wishes or happiness. Their main duty was to satisfy their husbands and produce heirs, often sacrificing personal freedom. For everyone in the empire, war was a constant. Genghis Khan's ambition meant non-stop military campaigns, with fighting becoming a way of life for Mongol men. Every soldier had to be an expert horseman and archer, fiercely loyal to their leaders. The empire expanded rapidly, stretching from the Pacific Ocean all the way to Eastern Europe, and every able-bodied man was expected to take part in its growth. Chroniclers like Giovanni described the Mongol army as an unstoppable force that left conquered peoples in awe and terror. This ongoing warfare shaped daily life. The Mongols relied on fast, overwhelming attacks that often forced entire communities to relocate to support the campaigns. Many areas within the empire were left empty as people fled or were moved. While conquest brought riches, soldiers faced brutal discipline. Retreat or failure could mean death. Civilians lived with the constant fear of being drafted and the heartbreak of loved ones sent off to distant battles. For those conquered, the Mongol rule could be brutal beyond belief. Genghis Khan used psychological warfare, destroying cities that resisted and carrying out mass killings to intimidate others. For those inside the empire's heartland, safety often meant staying away from border areas and avoiding the Khan's attention. Life under Mongol rule was marked by suspicion and hardship, where moments of peace were brief and safety was a rare luxury. Surviving in the Mongol Empire meant living under unyielding laws, facing daily struggles, enduring merciless punishments, and constantly preparing for war. This brutal reality built one of history's largest empires, but spared few from its harsh demands. Life under Genghis Khan was not just about loyalty. It was a test of endurance, obedience, and acceptance of harsh fate. Living under the rule of Genghis Khan meant existing in a world defined by unrelenting demands and a strict order that brooked no weakness or mercy. The Mongol Empire, vast and diverse, was held together by a legal code so rigid and severe that it shaped every moment of daily life. The Yasa was not just a set of laws. It was a tool of control, fear, and absolute loyalty, demanding total submission from all who lived within the empire's reach. It punished even the smallest offenses with harshness, ensuring that rebellion or disorder could never take root. This unforgiving justice system was matched only by the brutal environment the Mongols endured. The vast steppes offered little comfort. Harsh climates, constant movement, and the physical demands of a nomadic lifestyle tested the endurance of every man, woman, and child. Women, in particular, faced systemic subjugation, caught in a world where their value was tied strictly to loyalty, obedience, and their ability to produce heirs within polygamous households. Their personal desires and freedoms were almost entirely sacrificed to the needs of the family and the empire. War was not just a backdrop, but the very heartbeat of Mongol life. Soldiers lived for battle, and conquest fueled the empire's explosive growth from the Pacific Ocean to the gates of Europe. The constant threat of violence, forced relocation, and conscription kept the population in a state of alertness and fear, while the ruthless tactics of psychological warfare ensured that resistance was crushed before it could begin. Yet, despite this relentless harshness, the Mongol Empire created a legacy of unprecedented unity across continents, cultures, and peoples. It was a world where survival meant more than strength. It required obedience, resilience, and the acceptance of a brutal fate dictated by one of history's most powerful rulers. Understanding life under Genghis Khan offers a window into the complexity of empire building, how laws, warfare, and culture intertwine to shape societies in ways that are both awe-inspiring and terrifying. It reminds us that behind the vast conquests and legends lies the real story of human struggle and endurance in a world ruled by iron will and relentless ambition.